welcome back to WCS America Premier League Group B, round of 16. Man, they're breaking down the house over here, Johan.
Yeah, lots of people.
Won't have a studio left at the end of the day. Guys, we have next week too. Go easy, okay?
I want more people here next week, man.
It's gonna be hard.
I want the studio to be packed even more than now, but thanks to you guys for coming out. We have a ZVZ here in our lower bracket match with Revival taking on NesTea. What do you think about this one?
It's going to be really fun. I definitely don't think that Revival played poor earlier today against Hyun. It was just Hyun playing a tiny bit better in a couple of really important moments of the game. I liked Revival's openings. I thought he was onto something. I really understood where he was going with his builds. It just didn't really connect. And as good as NesTea has been in the past, and of course he has one of the most impressive track records of all time, I still feel that, you know, he's not Hyun at the moment. And I think that Revival is going to do okay this series.
You think he's the favorite? Look, if you look at the last two series, I guess that would make sense to say that, considering how well Revival played against the past champion Hyun, who's kind of unstoppable in ZVZ. Revival actually has an insane win rate on ZVZ. I just looked it up online. It's very, very high.
How high?
Let's see. Oh no, I closed it. I think it was like 58 or something, maybe 60 something, which is, for a matchup, a pro player across more than 100 games, to have this ratio is insane.
No, it definitely is, and I always felt that he's a good ZVZ player as well. I even thought earlier today he was going to defeat Hyun, and once more, I don't think he played poorly. Either way, as you guys can see, we're already firing up our veto process. There's a realistic possibility we see something different over here, because ZVZ, you often see one or two maps that you won't see too much in the other matchups.
Yeah, last time that there was a ZVZ between Hyun and Revival, the first two to go were Alterzim and Waystation. Always two maps that I feel like maybe we might see the least. As well as Merry-Go-Round a lot of the time, but King Sejong Station here was vetoed by NesTea. Alterzim's gonna follow as expected.
I think he's
Frost again?
No, I think we're gonna see a veto on Habitation, but I'm not sure. Maybe Merry-Go-Round.
But did you see NesTea was that guy who vetoed Frost?
Really?
Yeah.
He's the type of guy to veto Frost? I missed it.
What do you think about it?
That is quite something. I'm not sure how we can look at NesTea from this point on.
Well, I think as the creator of the universe, there is no other way. Nothing has changed.
Our first map is actually going to be Habitation Station, so despite Revival losing early today, he still feels very confident on this map. We saw Overgrow being the last veto. That is a little bit surprising, as it's a very popular match in pretty much all matchups. Our second map, this NesTea realized that he made a terrible mistake vetoing Frost. He's like, I'm sorry, for the first time ever, NesTea has apologized to the universe. And he said...
Hello guys, I address the universe. My name is NesTea. Well, we all know him already. No, he vetoed Frost against a Protoss, so I guess in ZVZ maybe it's different. You know, I reviewed his replays versus Crank from the round of 32 that was played earlier, and it really felt like on Frost he was kind of struggling. Even though he went 1-1 on that map against Crank, I feel like those 3 base timings was really what was throwing him off, so I feel like it's maybe why. So he has an excuse for being that guy, you know? Every one of those guys. I
don't think there is a legitimate reason ever to veto Frost. I'm sorry, Johan. I just can't come around.
Okay.
Either way, I'm very curious to see what Josh has to say. As we're just going to go over to him, and he's going to address all of you fine folks at home that are hopefully enjoying our broadcast. And after that, we'll hop straight into our next game. So, Josh, take it away.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's exciting to be here. The live audience is having a great time. I'm having a great time checking Twitter. Make sure to follow us at StarCraft, hashtag WCS. We're in America on the round of 16. Revival versus NesTea. Who's going to take it? The question today has been, how many roaches are these players going to make? Who's going to make the most roaches? I think so far, Hyun may be in the lead. And some people are tweeting out, in the game of drones, you either win or you play Protoss in this group. But we're going to find out who's going to move on here. After the losers match, one individual goes home. The other one moves on to the finals, to the final match of today. And only 2 players can move on. Now look at the patterns for what's happened, what we saw yesterday. Both of these players lost on Overgrowth, and since that map has been vetoed, this is anybody's guess, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen. I want to give a huge shout out to all the students that are joining us either on the stream or here in the studio. School may be out. Some people are still here for summer, though, so a huge thank you to them. And also a huge thank you to some of the students from the New York Film Academy joining us as well. One of the players played StarCraft back in the day, played some Brood War. So it's great to have a live audience here. As a reminder, make sure to come next week as well. Same location in Burbank, California. More information can be found online, or ask me on Twitter at Clutch08. Game's almost ready. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Clutch. And of course, I can't agree more. We would love to see all of you guys make it over to the studios over here in Burbank. So if you live anywhere remotely close to Southern California, or for my part, you live in North Dakota, just drive. If you start driving now, you'll be here by the end of next week. And it's worth it, guys. Hashtag WCS is worth it.
People can get a picture with you and your tie if they come down here, right?
Really? You're going to have to call me out on my tie skills?
Who was it that said... that had this idea of hashtagging WCS and trying to predict how many roaches we are going to see today? Because I'm pretty sure that person should be the one who keeps counts.
That was Nathan.
Oh, God, Nate. You got a huge task ahead.
I'm not sure if Nathan can count that far. Just kidding, Nate. Just kidding. So you can see NesTea is ready once more using his little hand warmer. You mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, right, Johan?
Yeah.
Did you ever use one of these things?
In Korea, they have a lot of them. Every time you have to play on TV and stuff, like they have a lot of them in stock. And actually, I saw a lot of them back there here at the studio. So you guys are definitely doing it right here in America.
Which is weird because it's not particularly cold in Southern California.
Well, the AC is pretty good here. The AC is pretty strong. If I had to play here, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't complain about the hotness, which would be a first.
Well, 12 years of esports, Johan. Eventually, we did find a place with a good AC. This is really good. As you guys can see, our players are ready. It's going to be our lower bracket match between Revival and NesTea. First map is going to be played on Habitation Station. It's a big match. NesTea, Johan, he has made it to Premier League multiple times. He's even made it to the round of 16 3 times already, but he has never gone all the way. He has never made it to the round of 8 or further. Revival, on the other end, of course, had a fantastic run last season, and even last year he had a fantastic run in Season 1 as well when he was the runner-up against Liquid Hero. So he would love to repeat that feat, but for now we are looking at this very accomplished Red Zerg spawning on the left top side of Habitation Station. Guys, go be loud for NesTea.
And his opponent is CM Storm's second recruit after Bolt. We have, of course, Revival.
You think he's sweating it a little bit, Johan? Once more, he had a fantastic run in WCS America Season 1, just like last year, but now in Season 2, he's on the ropes. He has to win 2 back-to-back best-of-3s. And like we mentioned earlier today, WCS points are becoming more and more important. And if anyone has a trauma of WCS points, it has to be Revival.
Yeah. He did finish 16th, tied with Naniwa last year, and they had to play a tiebreaker, and then he bubbled. That's how you call it. But in poker, you bubble.
You know, the funniest thing about it all is that Revival actually could have had 25 points more than than Naniwa. If he would have just played back then, we had Challenger, we had a group stage. This year it's a little different, and Challenger was played after Premier League. And if he would have just finished top 2 in his group, and of course, Revival being as good as he is, there was a big chance that he would have got 25 points more for actually for winning the bracket than for winning the group. The bracket stage was first, but he's like, I'm a Revival, I'm not going to play the bracket stage anymore. I've done enough this year, I deserve a holiday. And then suddenly he realized, like, hey, I need WCS points. So he still played the group stage. He won it and tied with Naniwa. That's quite an unbelievable story.
Yeah, but
overall
probably a pretty bad life decision.
Yeah, that was a $5,000 forfeit. What a buzz. You have made a couple of forfeits in your past, Johan, but...
Never thought that much. I think the most was $1,000.
To prove a point. And that's why we have AC now. Otherwise, we still would have been struggling, Johan. As we can see, NesTea opening up with the spot next here with the hedge first on the low ground. And he did drop the extractor already. On the other side of the map, we saw Revival opening up with the pool first. But he decided to go gasless once more. So despite losing early today with his gasless opening on Habitation Station, he is still going with what he knows best.
You know, earlier Revival, he sent his first 2 overlords behind the middle lines of the main and the expansion of his opponent. I think he's going to do the same thing here. It was really that 3rd overlord that he made that reached the gold way too late, the gold of Yon that was being taken very early on, which was, I guess, a bit of a gamble by him too. In this game, I'm pretty sure that 3rd overlord right now, which is above Revival's own gold, will get there as soon as possible. And I guess NesTea is not the guy that will try for what Hyun tried in the previous game. I mean, it would really be to be expected.
So far, it is very similar though what NesTea is doing compared to Hyun. He's the one opening up with the speed, so he's going to have map control, and he could definitely decide to send the drone to the gold base. But like you said, it's also probably something that you want to have some practice with. Hyun definitely did practice it. He had a great run, started making units at the exact right moment, and just had barely enough. And after that, was able to capitalize on the economic lead that he got from that gold base. So yeah, this is a mirror image of what we saw earlier today. And now I really wonder what Revival's response is going to be. Does he feel like, well, you know, he almost able to do it, but I don't believe that you will be able to stop my +1 roach timing, Revival, or excuse me, NesTea.
How do you stop this without, if you don't have speed early on and no gas as Revival?
I think Revival's push was not bad. I just think a few small things went wrong. The first engagement wasn't the one he was looking for, and let's not forget, he made a second evolution chamber and he never decided to use it. Those are the small things that could have been 2 extra roaches, and maybe with 2 extra roaches he would have been able to snowball in his favor. We'll never know, but we'll see what Revival does for now. So far it's just a single evolution chamber, so no double evo chamber, and the roach one. I wouldn't be, and this time he does fire up speed a lot quicker though, Jon. I think you pointed it out very well earlier today.
You think he goes for an attack just like previously, but maybe a little bit faster and stronger?
Yeah, I think Kanye West over here, or no, I think you're onto some. Oh, we see a Baning Nest being morphed in as well for NesTea. That's interesting.
Is he misreading it?
That's definitely different. Well, you got a good scout off. He has a Zergling in the main base of Revival, so I don't think he's misreading it.
No, he definitely had time to click on that roach one.
Yeah, but what he did see this time...
Oh, he cancels and makes the roach run. So he had misread in the first place. He cancels the Baning Nest, gets the roach run, gets... well, NesTea gets 18 Zerglings immediately.
Yeah, but like the most important thing, and you mentioned this in your post-game analysis, is that early today Revival was attacking with only roaches and he did not have Zergling speed. So he was forced to reinforce with roaches, which of course is a little bit slower than reinforcing with speedlings. So I feel we're watching an identical game, but Revival with one small tune, where this time he decided to go for Zergling speed. So he will make as many roaches as possible, and from that point on it's going to be Zerglings and Zerglings only.
Production, heavy production already started for Revival here, actually for both players, but NesTea making Zerglings against a lot of roaches. If there is that critical mass of roaches, it's almost impossible, I feel, to win with Lynx. 44 army supply for Revival, 37 for NesTea.
It's definitely earlier than what happened in the game against Hyun. You were spot on. Last time it was around like 50-something workers against 45. This time Revival was on 38. Ooh. So it is definitely quicker. But these Zerglings could be caused to be very annoying. Great hold position there, or at least like enough Zerglings there on the ramp for Revival to defend for now. But of course NesTea has to worry about all of these roaches that start knocking on his front door. And on the other hand, Revival has to worry about these Zerglings.
Ooh, he rallied roaches. NesTea rallied roaches in the roaches of Revival. At the natural though, he's about to maybe bridge that base. Revival needs to get some roaches to reinforce this. He's only making Zerglings behind. He's content with the amount of roaches that he has made, and this counter attack is forcing the Lynx of Revival to stay back at home, so he's not gonna have any reinforcements for those roaches to really be that much stronger.
He still has a roach advantage, but it's not gonna last for a very long time, as more and more roaches are about to spawn for NesTea. I think NesTea might have enough units to push this back, but now the Zerglings are streaming in as reinforcements, so this could help tip things in favor of Revival. Revival's getting his own gold base as well, but needless to say, this is a big commitment, and so far these Zerglings are really helping out.
Really good transfuse on some of those roaches here. NesTea is trying to hold on right now. He's gonna start falling behind on supply. He's 35 drone seconds, 37 right now, but mining this much from the gold like he is really gonna help. Remember, he's on 3 hatcheries. If he injects well, he should be able to outproduce his opponent, but he doesn't have a queen at that gold base.
Yeah, it's still very close. I think that NesTea will be able to stabilize after all, as we see Revival retreat, but the lay attack is a lot quicker for Revival, and this time he fires up both upgrades. So Revival opening the same way, definitely switching things up a little bit, attacking quicker and having Zergling speed.
Look at that Queen Middle. Not going to be able to snipe that Overlord here, as NesTea is going to be the one putting on some pressure here. He takes 2 lair now, and the lair is already up here for Revival, who starts speed. Do you think if he gets speed, even if he has less units, there's something they can make happen with roaches?
Maybe, and I feel that NesTea had a small unit advantage then. He's been mining off the gold for a much longer time. He also had 12 drones on the gold for the longest amount of time. He maybe lost it one or twice, but now Revival is able to saturate his own gold base. Worker-wise, it's very even. So I guess in the end of the day, you can say that Revival is enjoying a small advantage, despite being down. No, actually, he's up in roaches. He's down in Zerglings. There are twice as many Zerglings on the map for NesTea. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Revival, of course, because in roughly 70 seconds from this point, he's going to have 1-1 upgrades, and that makes a massive difference in ZVZ. So this is sort of NesTea's golden moment, his one opportunity to perhaps swing things in his favor again, because if he just waits it out, 0-0 roaches against 1-1 roaches is not a whole lot of fun.
It's so funny how both players, well, they had about the same worker count, but now Revival took a slight lead finally. He's got more drones at the gold. So Revival finally now is mining more than NesTea, but I mean, NesTea, he had a little bit more army supply, but Revival again just caught up on that. So Revival somehow came back into this game from a huge deficit with some nice aggression. 76 army supply to 68 right now.
I actually made a big mistake. NesTea was on +1 roaches all along, so he's still going to be down in upgrades soon, but it still might be a small window of opportunity for him where he actually has an upgrade advantage. These Zerglings are staying alive a little bit longer because +1 wasn't ready yet for Revival. Eventually it will, but this seems like a very, very even fight in the long run regardless, and from this point on, Revival will really have the worker lead for the first time. He does have speed as well, so he's able to pick up maybe 1 or 2 of these retreating roaches from NesTea. Very back and forth ZVZ so far.
Yeah, Revival having more drones though. I really feel like if he played this defensively now, he could make sure that he gets enough to have the upper hand in terms of army and possibly seal the deal. But he's moving forward.
It is so even in army supply. Pretty much everything is even, which makes it really hard to decisively win a fight. Yes, Revival has that small upgraded advantage, but now NesTea is going to have the advantage of having reinforcements arrive a little bit quicker. You guys can see it in supply cap. It's exactly even, and you know these units are just trading back and forth.
Revival has a 1 upgrade lead with the car pace being up. He went for double Evo against NesTea's single Evo, so even though NesTea is getting the +2 right now, as long as he keeps fighting before that, he's going to have an upgrade deficit. Oh, I like that he gets 3 extra drones. I feel like NesTea is the one who should be playing a little bit more passively for a moment. Maybe get a few more drones, and then as soon as he has +2, it's going to be the biggest of deals. And look at that, 8 drones start here for Revival.
Yeah, both players realizing that it's just very hard to make something work on this map. They're just like going back and forth, left to right. Reminds me of that funny image that once upon a time was on Reddit that described ZVZ in a nutshell. You know, with the roaches going left, right, left, right. It was very funny. You missed it, didn't you? You didn't think it was funny. If you would have seen it, Johan, I swear, you would have thought it was funny.
I probably saw it and closed it instantly, thinking, where's the Protoss units? I wonder, Revival, though, with his build order, it really feels like he's getting the worst ends of things every single time. Do you think next game he goes back to this build order, which seems to be his go-to build order, or does he pull the Roddy routes? Does he go the Roddy route and sticks with what he likes and be stubborn?
I mean, like, I'm sure that he knows ZVZ well enough that he knows that a lot of Zerg players will just take a very quick gold against his gasless style, and he feels that he can deal with it. And I felt he had a realistic window of opportunity, but NesTea controlled his defensive roaches very well, bought enough time. Also did a good job with the counterattack and slowing the reinforcements down a little bit from Revival. So, you know, it turned out very even in the long run. I don't think that NesTea had a massive build order advantage. And right now, Revival is actually enjoying a nice worker lead, and he's going to have +2 upgrades on his own in roughly 60 seconds. So
I can't tell if you are trying to explain his choice of strategy in the next game, or justify your stubbornness just now.
Well, that's a trademark of being stubborn, right? Pretending like you're not.
Indeed, Roddy. +2 is on the way now for Revival. Don't you think NesTea should attack as long as he has the +2 earlier?
He is, but it's hard to attack in ZVZ though. Yes, he had +2 attack, but he was down on armor upgrade.
Oh, by the way, there is a trap in the middle of the map. Those roaches, they are out of the vision of that watchtower.
It's actually very well positioned, and I think out of vision of most of the overlords as well. Revival unaware of this roach squad that's in the middle of the map. NesTea could also use it to counterattack and kill this fort base potentially, but he has to be very careful. He doesn't want to let these units be caught off guard either, and Revival decides to go via the south side of the Zelnaga watchtower, so you will still see the roaches. Revival is maxed out, NesTea is not, and NesTea had a few less workers. Upgrade wise, well, you guys know the story, it's 1-1 against 2-0, so I guess it's still sort of even, but Revival seems to have a few more units over here though, Johan.
Yeah, NesTea having the +2 earlier really helping right now. Revival is engaging before his +2 finishes. The roach count right now, 26 for NesTea, 27 for Revival. It's very even. NesTea finally starting to pull ahead on roaches.
I love
Is he doing this?
I love how we're both trying to find an advantage for one player or the other, but it was just not really happening. NesTea is going to push Revival back for now, but Revival has a quicker forward base, and he still is up in supply as well, even though we can't really see it because most of his reinforcements just spawned. And at the end of that fight, it's 24 against 25 roaches.
Roaches are not very nice. Revival's trying to go home. He's getting spit on his back. Off all of his roaches by the roaches of NesTea. And NesTea, with this nice and solid hold, is going to stay alive in this game. He's behind on supply. Revival has now caught up on the attacks upgrade with the +2. But NesTea's about to get the carapace, so he's going to catch up on that as well.
Yeah, he's actually going to be like ahead in that regard, correct? No, actually, then it's going to be completely even because Revival was on double Evo chain, but just didn't fire up +2 armor yet. The funniest thing is though, Johan, because NesTea had the gold so much longer, he's about to mine out his gold, and that is actually kind of bad for him.
Don't you think the gold base looks so sad when you look there and there's no minerals left? It's like, whatever happened here? It used to be a great place with lots of money, but now no more.
It's like Paris in the end of Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh god.
No spoiler, by the way, guys. Guaranteed. On your feet.
No spoilers at all. Well done, Roddy. Getting Burrow here for Revival, do you think this can change a lot? Usually, like you will not use that during fights, right? Trying to micro burrow roaches. Usually it's at the end of a fight where like you will burrow all of those that are low hit points, or all of them, and then regenerate hit points. So I don't think it's the biggest of deal. And both players started carapace level 2. NesTea a little bit earlier. I really like that NesTea, look at his overlords right now. He's sending overlords everywhere in the middle of the map so that he can have a lot more vision. I feel like Revival, he has a lot of vision on his side of the map, but not on NesTea's side. So in the end, they're just going to wait for now. They're just going to wait until one of them finally is tired to wait.
Because it's so hard to attack in roaches. Like the other player will always have the better concave, and when it's roach versus roach, it's just a little difficult. I like that we're seeing Tunnel and Claws being vicious now for Revival. He can start sending a few burrowed roaches across the map, try to make something happen with the roach hit squad, which is very smart because the worker count is not extremely high. It's 50 against 56 currently, so 4 roaches are able to pick off like 12 drones. That could be very tricky.
NesTea started the Hydra then as natural and cancelled it right after. Changing. Oh, he started somewhere else. Right outside his natural. This is interesting. And at the same time, Revival, at the exact same time, starts Easy, starts Pneumatize Carapace as well. That's also going to allow the Overshears to be faster. I'm glad you mentioned the Tunneling Claws. I think it could be important, but hold on. Are we going to have an engagement? Bjorn really made magic happen, by the way, with those roaches run by everywhere.
Not just that, also even like burrowing during the fight a little bit, because he used Tunnel Claws to save a couple of those roaches. Just burrowing them in the middle of the fight might not be the moment.
Do you think Nathanias is having fun counting roaches right now?
I think Nathan is struggling and pulled out his calculator.
Man, who's going to engage here? Whoever engages might have the worst concave, and yeah, Revival knows that. As much as he would like to fight right now, he's not being allowed to. In Phase Station, Pete goes down for Revival, as well as Groove Spines.
I mean, like, Swarmos are not terrible, but it's most likely just to fire up Hive and eventually get 3-3 upgrades. 3-3 definitely makes a huge difference as well. Revive is going to try to go for it, even using Tunneling Claws to get a couple of the roaches closer and from behind. It is a risky move. We'll see how it plays out. Now, actually, he's just going to retreat for now.
NesTea's ahead on roaches now, 63 to 55.
Yeah, he's going to win this fight, but he's going to take a lot of economic damage early on. He doesn't have an overseer with his army. That is a sloppy mistake from NesTea. He could have killed a lot more. Of course, with losing a few roaches is not the end of the world, because you're able to now replace them with Hydralisk.
Those roaches in natural doing a bunch of damage here. Revival has killed 12 drones in this game, NesTea has killed 0.
He can go for the layer. If he gets the layer, that is really good news for Revival. Is he focusing it? Yes, he is going for the layer. At the same time, there are roaches on the south side. I really would have loved to see him take out the layer.
He's not targeting it anymore, so this might be defended in the main. NesTea needs to be quick. 15 drones have been killed now. Revival's trying to escape with his main army. He's getting chased down. NesTea has an Overseer now. Hive starts on the other side of the map. And Revival's about to have mined out his gold as well. What a game, man.
By the time that NesTea made it across the map, Revival will most likely be maxed out again. Even the unit loss resource tab is extremely even.
Very, very even. What's the worker count? 37 for NesTea, 54 for Revival. So I guess losing those 15 drones was a big deal here for NesTea. Definitely doesn't have the economy to take to Hive.
And he also, like, it's 50 roaches now for Revival, but also 17 Hydras. 17 Hydras is very good as long as you're able to protect them, as long as you're able to protect, keep them from behind and make sure the roaches won't get nice and close. And I feel this is a very good fight for Revival. These Hydras from behind are pushing out so much damage, Johan.
So many roaches of NesTea are stuck behind. Look at them dancing. They cannot get in there.
They're getting closer now. I feel like NesTea's making a mistake. There's still... okay, well, he's getting closer and closer to these Hydras, though. Once the roaches are close enough, the Hydras will fall for Revival. But the supply tap is definitely in favor of Revival. Even though he's not able to win the game over here, in the end, that was a pretty good fight for him.
Yes. And there was no muscular augments yet for Revival. He's going to complete that here in a second. Contaminate was used on that fourth hatchery of NesTea. I really like how Contaminate is being used so much more. Do you think maybe in the future, like the future of ZVZ is going to be like 4 overseers and you consistently contaminate your opponent's base just like you will hit inject?
You see it more and more. I think it's a really fun spell as well that has been underused for the longest amount of time. Now this is really cool what we see, a Baneling Nest. And why is that so cool, Johan?
You're gonna tell me?
Okay. Well, Banelings can actually be extremely good against Hydras. If you're able to hide them, if you're able to swing in Banelings from the side, if Banelings can get connections, Hydras of course don't have the same amount of HP as Roaches do. So if you can get Banelings nice and close to Hydras, all of the Hydras will blow up.
Yeah.
And this is cool as well because Revival went to Hive, even though he lost so many units that he didn't fire up 3-3 yet. But this is the first real difference we see in playstyle between these two players. And it's a risky move for NesTea because Banelings are good when you're rich. Right now, he's not all that rich, so he's basically putting all of his eggs in one basket, and that basket is a bunch of Banelings that will roll around.
Yeah, maybe he felt obligated to try something, realizing he was just that far behind. 15 Banelings are going to be morphed here. He's getting burning speed as well. Maybe Baneling bombs?
Yeah, the
would
problem
have to be the best of his life.
The problem is there are overseers with the army of Revival because he's already afraid of burrowed roaches and whatnot. Baneling speed, of course, is not ready, so it's really hard for NesTea now to get connections. And Revival actually just pretty much remaxed on roaches, so these Banelings were a wrong choice for NesTea. Banelings nowhere near as good against roaches as they normally are. Good splits there as well, most of these roaches, and I feel that NesTea just wasted a lot of money and didn't really get what he was looking for. Oh, sick.
Oh wow, regeneration here on those roaches is going to be sick, as they already took a lot of damage. Very good use of Burrow here by Revival, who should be able to secure himself that game.
Yep, definitely. He's still maxed out. He's going in for the kill. Was even able to almost snipe the Baneling Nest over there. Very fun little back and forth ZVZ between NesTea and Revival, but I feel in the end NesTea is going to fall short as he just doesn't really have a whole lot of money anymore. Is basically down to one mining base. There's still a little bit of money left in his natural, but that's about it. He is far from maxing out while Revival just fired up 3-3 upgrades, has access to Hive, and you can see that he's getting ready for his dream engagement.
Yeah, he's getting some more links to try and morph some Banelings, but he's not going to be given any time as Revival gets in there. Use Tunneling Cloud to get right below this army and on Burrow behind. Yeah,
that's very nice. These roaches getting nice and close with these Hydras. Hydras now forced to start working on roaches in the back of the army at first. There's still a lot of roaches away for Revival. NesTea is holding his ground though. These Hydras have still done a lot of work, and he might be able to hang in there even though his roach count is dwindling. And as soon as your Hydras are exposed, you know you are in a little bit of trouble when it comes to ZVZ.
Man, the units lost. Revival actually lost more units in this game than NesTea. It's not going to matter in the end though, because right now NesTea has lost everything that he had. He's down to so few drones. 42 against 53 for Revival, who's got an additional base as well on the bottom right hand side. He's got so much more income. And NesTea, that guy just won't die, man.
Yeah, solid, a really solid macro from Revival. He was able to secure his 5th base during all this. Has enough roaches and will win game number 1. An almost 30-minute ZVZ on which the fighting never stopped.
What a sick game that was, man. So much action. Not every day you get to see this. I feel like the games today have been really, really good.
Yeah, we had a couple of very fun back and forth games, and that's definitely a game that NesTea can be sort of proud of as well. Hold his ground against one of the more successful Zergs of 2013 and even in 2014. WCS America Season 1 Revival doing so extremely well.
He's the creator of the universe, man. You think he's proud of going 0-3?
Well,
he's only losing because he's allowing himself to.
I said this game. Obviously, you're never happy with losing, but it's not like NesTea looked atrocious over there. He played a good game. Revival just in a few key moments, a little bit more clever, and NesTea in the end, even though he was already falling behind on that point, trying to go for the banelings on the moment that Revival maxes out on roaches. No, that's like the moment where you want Revival to show up with like 22 Hydras and hope that you can get good connections with your banelings.
This is a very tough group, I feel. Usually these days, every group of death is Group D. And I do think that Group D in this tournament is very stacked as well, but this group is insane.
Which is our Group D?
Group D is Bomber's group,
Is that
right?
Bomber's group?
Yeah, I think so.
Bomber, Paul, Czech, and Tootming?
Yeah.
That's
Bomber
cool.
right now who's staying at Roddy's place.
Yeah, he looked so happy, by the way. Bomber just went up to Red Bull, and Red Bull said, like, yeah, Bomber, we can keep you here after MLG Anaheim, but you're going to have to stay in a hotel. And Bomber is like, no, I can stay with Roddy. I was like, he didn't even ask me. I was like, Red Bull is like, are you sure, Bomber? Bomber's like, yeah, Roddy said last time it's okay. And then they reached out to me. He's like, hey, it's okay if Bomber stays with you. I'm like, well, yeah, why not? You know, one of the best Terran players in the world stays in my place for a week. Why the hell not? And I think he's enjoying his time so far, Johan.
Yeah.
He even bought us dinner last night. What a boss.
Yeah.
Spending some of the dirty esports money. Thank you, Bomber. Over here in the left top side of the map, the creator of the universe, a 3-time GSL champion. He's also made it to the Premier League round of 16 for the 3rd time already. Unfortunately, he has never made it to the round of 8, and he's going to have to win, you know, at least 2 back-to-back maps, and then he's going to have to win 1 more best of 3 to go all the way. It is NesTea.
Who's not making an overload now. We are going to have a pool 10, Roddy.
Yep. NesTea had enough of the long games. He's like, that was pretty close, but I'm going to bring the action to Revival in this game. As Revival, of course, is a blue Zerg player spawning on the right top side of the map. Representing Cooler Master Storm, it is, yeah, I already said it twice, Revival!
I interrupted you. You salvaged the intro as much as you could. Sometimes you can't carry the intro, Roddy. You tried your best. Revival, if he was to go for hatch first here, which I think he's going to be, since he's on 15 already, he's going to be in lots of trouble. And you know what? NesTea is going to scout Revival first as well.
This is like a perfect scenario.
This is
so
like
far.
you betting on soccer.
Why?
Everything goes right at first. Well, then he would lose the game, I guess, if it was like you.
Yeah.
Everything goes wrong later on.
The only thing that went wrong today is France. And
well, no comments.
It's a tempo opening for NesTea, who's also mining a little bit of gas, so it's going to be the 10-pool Baneling. If Artosis is watching right now, he will be so incredibly sad, because I know that Artosis hates no build more in ZVZ than 10-pool Bane. We'll see how it works out for NesTea. It was a good scenario though, Johan. He scouts him immediately.
Yeah.
He plays against Hedge first. It's really not going to get much better than this if you're going for the build that NesTea is going for.
And Revival scouted the wrong way at first too, so he has no idea. He's still making drones right now. He's not saving any lava for his Zerglings. Is it possible? Have you ever seen this being held?
Yeah, multiple times. That's why Artosis hates it so much.
Why? Because it can be held?
Yeah, no, actually a lot of players are able to defend it these days, but it's not easy, and this is kind of a tricky scenario for Revival, because so far literally all the pieces were in the right place for NesTea. It really couldn't have gone a whole lot better for him. So we'll see. The Zerglings will show up. He's going to morph a bunch of Banelings on the ramp immediately.
Just 3.
Yep, Revival's going to have to micro his drones. He's going to have to try to get Queens out and just try to buy as much time for himself as possible and make sure that Banelings won't get the dream connections that they're looking for.
Yeah.
With 4 Banelings, this is the... Oh, no, well. So far the splits are good.
He's going to go for the spine. He cannot detonate one of those Banelings on the spine. Okay, he's going to get the cancel on it. We have 2 Queens in production, 1 in the main, 1 in the natural. Right now,
wow.
Very good split by Revival. Those Lings don't even know what to do.
Yeah, but I really like what NesTea is doing as well. He's not wasting his Banelings. So the split was fantastic for Revival, but he's not mining anything during that split. And the Banelings were definitely not getting wasted. He still kept them alive. A couple of drones will be transferred now, Banelings. Well, okay. Not too bad for Revival, doing a really good job
and
so
that
far.
Queen on the natural was sniped immediately as it came out. Didn't even have time to inject or do anything. The one in the main.
Wow.
He's trying to reach the ramp, but there's just so much for NesTea.
Yeah, actually, still with all these links, he might get the Queen as well. A couple of Zerglings are about to spawn for Revival. He needs them now, though. And for now, he's out of the woods. There are 2 more Banelings, but good focus fire there on this Baneling. That's not going to connect with the mineral line. And at the end of the day, it is 13 drones against 12, but of course 2 hatcheries against 1.
Yeah.
And this is why Dan hates it so much.
NesTea started the Queen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Speed start as well here in a second. He actually already has the gas and the minerals. Why is he not getting Speed?
I'm actually a little bit confused
He
by
wants
that.
to start the hatch first, maybe,
Yeah,
before getting the Speed.
Yeah, good point. And wants to use this first 3. No, he changed his mind. He's like, I don't have money for this.
He heard me. He's like, do you know who I am?
15 workers for NesTea, so he's going to follow this up with a lot of speedlings, and of course he's still mining a tiny bit of gas as well, so it could be banelings. This is going to be a fantastic scout for Revival, because he's going to see the spawning pool wiggling. He's going to see as well that NesTea is mining gas. He's going to try to get a drone or so. These Zerglings are actually going to be a little bit annoying, and Revival knows now all that he needs is a wall off in the natural, and he needs spine crawlers behind it, and from that point on he's going to be fine.
Yeah, maybe some additional queens here as well. Would help in building up some energy for transfuses later on. NesTea, do you think he completely transitions into a macro game for there, or is there any chance he might do a follow-up attack with more links?
I thought he wanted to go for the follow-up attack, but because Revival scouted everything, I think NesTea knows right now that his options are very limited, and he also stopped mining gas after everything got scouted, and now he sends one drone back.
Revival is very scared. He starts in a second spine.
He should have been scared. He scouted speed, he scouted one base, he knows he's on 2 bases. The last thing you ever want to do is underreact and still die to everything you just scouted. So
I think he cancels the spine upon seeing the hatch?
Good point. Yeah.
He's not doing it now. Well, I guess, I don't know. He has a bunch of drones. He's ahead on drones, so he doesn't particularly have to cancel it either.
Well, like he sees the hatch, but he could also just think that NesTea has a lot of additional minerals that he wasn't able to spend.
Better safe than sorry.
Oh, now this is an interesting follow-up over here for NesTea.
And you know what? It's not going to be seen for a very long time as well. We do have some overlords of Revival in the middle of the map, maybe getting in a position where it could see this. Did an overlord just die? Where?
Yeah, in the main base of Revival. Revival sniped an overlord of NesTea.
I guess that's some good use for his queen, since he has 3.
Yeah, fun. Good follow-up there by NesTea. I kind of like it, Johan, because he knows that he's behind. He knows that if this goes into a macro game, if we just look at the drone count right now, it's already 30 against 22. If NesTea just stays on 2 bases, eventually he's going to fall behind. He's going to have a lot of trouble defending any sort of roach push that we know that Revival loves to make. +1 roaches with speed, definitely something that's in Revival's arsenal. As long as he feels like he's in a good position, he's going to do that. So Revival rolls the dice here a little bit, expands in a phase in the game where you could say, like, is that always the right decision? Probably not, but this has been a unique game how it played out so far. And of course he also scouted that Revival, as most of the time, opened gasless, so it's not like there are already a bunch of speedlings trying to cancel that base.
It's so cool that NesTea tried something special even though it didn't work all that much, and it's also super cool that he tries again something special to try and come back. Man, NesTea is really mixing it up very well. I think he would have been a sick Protoss if he played Protoss. Perhaps quite not Scarlet tier, but
of course he would have. He's NesTea. He would have probably won 6 GSLs. Either way, I'm still worried for NesTea though. Like I like that he's taking a risk. He needs to do something to somehow catch up, but it's going to be tough, man. He was behind in works for the longest time. Above all, he's behind in tech. Roach speed is going to finish up so much quicker for Revival, who's also going to have an upgrade advantage, as we see double evolution chambers rolling for him already. From this point on, Revival's just scouting. He's like, all right, I see what you did there, and I don't think that you're going to be able to defend my big roach shove as soon as I have speed, as soon as I have my upgrades. And he's even firing up upgrades, or excuse me, roaches already. He's on 45 drones, so Johan, we both know how many roaches can Zerg produce. 45 drones.
Yeah, it's almost double the stalkers that we can make on 44 probes.
Did you just say almost?
Actually, a lot more.
So from this point on, it's macro mode for Revival. He's going to pump out as many roaches as he can, and a big +1 or 1/1 attack is definitely going to be very useful for him.
Yeah, NesTea finally gets the lair tech, and that means he's going to be able to start speed.
You know what's interesting as well? That NesTea again put his production facilities in a very interesting location.
Yeah.
The most important building that NesTea currently has is his Roach Warren, and I think it's safe to say it's pretty exposed.
Well, that's where most of his army is going to be, but if he was to have to split, like if there are some units in his natural main, and he sends most of his army there to defend, this could be sniped. He has to be careful.
Yes, he has. One of the overlords will get picked off as well, which is a little bit unfortunate. Might actually supply block him, but he does fire up as many roaches as he can. Look at these spines, by the way, that are just marching across the map. That's so cool.
Those queens are going to be able to transfuse as well. You're pretty far away from home.
NesTea does have a few more roaches now because speed wasn't ready yet for Revival, so it took a little longer for the reinforcements to arrive. These spines are really going to help out in soaking up the damage and actually being able to push out quite a bit of damage. The good old 12-minute spine crawler push, haven't we seen it before?
NesTea is trying to hold on. He did pull drones, and that really helped. He's going to be able to chase down those queens, so Revival turns around and tries and fights. He does have speed already. Speed's about to finish for NesTea. 11 drones, roaches in production for both players. I hope you I hope you're still counting Nathanias, because we're going to see a lot more of those. 19 roaches for Revival right now, 12 for NesTea.
Sick macro as well on the Queen. NesTea is in an upgrade deficit though, as he's fighting with 0-0 against 1-1, but he's doing a really good job at hanging in there. And he is, but he's currently down in workers and he's down in upgrades. Revival is going to end up losing that Queen, and he only has 2 Queens remaining. But in the end of the day, I still feel this was a successful attack. Revival didn't win the game, but he was able to put himself ahead once more.
Yeah, there is a few links across the map here for NesTea. Okay, he finally remembered that they were there.
He might morph them into banelings and try to blow up the drone line later on. It's actually a pretty cute play. But there are overlords everywhere for Revival. He doesn't see the Zerglings right now.
By the way, NesTea cancelled speed on links. He doesn't have speed.
But he does have Banes.
Yes, and Banes can be pretty good. But there are overlords in position. I expect Revival to be able to see this on time.
If he is focused on roaches, I think it's going to be very hard. I love what NesTea is doing as well. He's showing us roaches, not because he wants to fight. There's no way NesTea wants to fight with his roaches now. He wants to distract Revival and be like, hey, look at my roaches, and here come the Banelings. Really cute play there.
Yeah.
NesTea still got the magic touch.
Always, man. 32 roaches for Revival, 25 for NesTea. He's trying to catch up. He's made a few more drones, actually. He's on 50 against 44, so he has to be careful. If he was to be the one that gets engaged now, he would be in trouble. Both players started +2, but Revival much earlier. It feels like Revival is not paying attention to his upgrades all that much. I've seen him engage multiple times before +2 finished before.
That's correct. Even the last fight, in the start of the fight, +1-1 wasn't ready yet, but he does have that armor upgrade though. So he is going to be on 2-1 for a while. NesTea, he still has 2 additional banings, so he's going to try it one more time. If NesTea holds this attack, which won't be easy because Revival's units, then he's really finding himself in an okay position over here.
Trying to get the good concave right now. Revival in superior numbers. 45 roaches against 25. The banelings across the map killed a bunch of drones. I feel like this is all in here for Revival, and he's doing well so far with it.
Yeah, and he's going to kill a bunch of drones regardless, so he will be able to even up the worker count. But above all, that upgrade advantage is really helping the Zerg player, representing Cooler Master Storm. He is steaming through NesTea with a couple of good moves, but unfortunately, Johan, I'm afraid it's not going to be enough, as Revival is going to move on to the deciding match of the day after a solid ZVZ performance.
Revival, a top 4 player from the previous season here, who really needs those WCS points if he wants to have a chance to qualify for the global finals. NesTea, you know what? Even though he lost here, he's got my love, man. He's the best senior player out there. Him and Wytra, man, forever in my heart.
WCS America 2024, NesTea vs Wytra final. By then Wytra has emigrated as well.
Well, they're kids, maybe.
That would be so sick. I would love to cast that. That would be amazing. Either way, great ZVZ series, of course, by Revival. I really think he handled it well. A couple of good decisions. NesTea didn't make it easy on him. A couple of good moves as well. I really love how he was hiding the 2 banelings, and right on that moment shows his roaches, forces Revival to pay attention, because, of course, the last thing Revival want is to enter a roach fight where he's out of position, where he doesn't have a concave. So the natural thing to do is like, hey, I see an army, let's spread my roaches, and suddenly 2 banelings wiggle in. He's like, man, that NesTea still got it.
It wasn't enough in the end, but yeah, it takes some star sense to think of things like that. And he transformed the mistake, because it was a mistake. He had 4 links across the map, which he wasn't used. So he transformed the mistake into a good thing that he could do. And it's always a good thing when you can make that happen, Kevin. You know, it's happened to me recently in a tournament. I made 2 Warp Prism accidentally. Yes. And then I used them both to warp in Zealots.
And everyone was like...
I killed my opponents. And everyone was like, my god, this is the best move ever. I was like, I guess it is.
It's really cool when stuff works out like that. Either way, this means, of course, that we are getting ready for our winner bracket match between Alicia and Hyun. 2 players that also went super far in WCS America Season 1. Alicia made it to the top 4 as well. Hyun, of course, is our reigning champion of WCS America. And that best of 3 will be coming up after this short commercial break.